So I am back now. Excuse me. What we're going to be doing now is the inside left side flip. So I just wanted to show you the front of my cover. That's all that. There's the sides there which I decorated the back, and then the other side there as well. So by now you guys would have stuck this down, and you've got your pocket in there as well. Okay, so I did cover the inside here, and I did take my ribbon down further here as well. Okay, so for the next side, what we're going to do is this left hand side, you're going to flip that open. Okay, now what I did do with this for me is I used the Tombow Craft Collection stamp runner. I love this stamp runner. It's temporary for me to be able to use for projects like this if I want to mat things and line them up and what have you. They're already easy to stick down. Okay, so what we're going to do is we will start off with this pocket, this part here of the flip. Okay, so what I did do is I'll take this off because I just put a tiny bit of adhesive on it. Now I did score it, I did cut it at 5 by 8 and score it 1/2 inch. Now when you score it 1/2 inch, you move it over one little notch and score it again, just so that it has a little bit of a well there, excuse me, so that when you add things in, it's not going to be flat. You'll have a little bit of a gusset there for it to expand. Okay, or if you want more of a gusset because you want to put more things in, then you could go to 1/2 inch and then a 3/4 inch and then 1/2 inch. Is that right? No, 1/4 inch and then 1/2 inch. You guys will figure it out. Okay, so that's this page here. So that'll sit along here. Okay, now what I have also done is I have cut out, so I've cut this paper out and I'm going to mat that. Okay, so this is what you really want to do first of all. Just glue this down on top of your page. Okay, and just want to try and get it on there, line it up, hopefully, because it's like kind of white on the white. Okay, then what you will do is keep that, don't attach it just yet, you can do that, you know, in a sec. The next thing we'll do, and I'll move this out the way for now, the next thing we'll do is this window here. Now what I did do is I cut these bits out, and it's 5 by 4 and score 1/4 at both ends here. All right, 1/4 inch. So on your 5 inch side you want to score it at 1/4 inch. Okay, then what I did do is I actually used my stamp runner just to adhere the paper down because I wanted a border. Okay, so I just adhered the paper lightly. Then I used my Dynamics steel rule dies here, and I actually use this one here, just the inner one here. This is the one that I used, and I ran that through the Big Shot with both pieces attached. You don't want to glue it down permanently, because what you're going to do is after you've run it through, you'll have your 2 separate pieces, and you want to tape or glue your acetate in between those 2 pieces, and that's what I've done here. All right, and of course, you know, you've got to mess it up. So you want to stick that down now, and I'm going to use glue again. So what you want to do is put glue along here, glue here, and glue down the bottom. Once again, you don't want to use tape because your photo mat will get stuck. And I don't, like I said, with things like this, I really don't like using tape anyway. I'd prefer to use my glue. Just make sure you don't stick the pocket down. And make sure you don't get the glue on the acetate as well. That's a big thing too. Okay. So I'm just going to stick this down now. And I'm putting it down towards the bottom. Okay. And let it kind of burnish it so you guys can move that over a bit. Okay. And that's your pocket there. So the next thing I want to do is create my flip pocket. Okay, and I've done that already. I've only stuck these down temporarily. So what you want to do is cut it at 4.5 by 3.5, then score 1/2 inch and then one line over to create that little well again. I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up, just so that you can see that there. All right, then what you need to do is you want to glue down all your bits to that flip. And this is a good way of doing it too, like with all your bits and bobs as well. So if you cut out, go bit by bit and follow along with this, then you can cut out your bits and pieces and clean up in between and like sort of, you know, decorate as you go along basically. And I'm just going to cover the back with this. Once again, it's temporary, the adhesive. It does stick over a period of time, but it's just temporary enough for me to be able to show you guys. Excuse me. Okay. Alright, then what I will do is I'm going to stick that on the inside. So I'm going to take that off because we'll glue that down. I'm going to stick that to the inside of that flip. Okay, rather than doing it on the same side, I want it on this underneath here. So I'm just going to add my glue, and hopefully you guys can see this and there's no shadows. It's starting to get dark now, and I'm hoping you guys are getting enough light there. All right, now once again with this, you don't want to glue it right to the line. You want to just glue it, you don't want to glue it on the line, you want to glue it right up to the line. Okay, make sure there's no excess glue, otherwise your flip will stick. You don't want that. Okay. And then we've got that, we've got our pocket. So then we've got this piece here, which is our photo mat, and that's measured at 4.25 by 4.5. Okay, so once again, I've just matted that, and I'll actually, I might trim that down and make it a wider berth around here because it's going to slide there. No, I'll leave it. Okay, so I'm just going to stick this down. So I'm going to put my photo mat to one side. Sorry, my page to one side. Okay. And glue it down. Once you get the hang of it, it becomes quite easy to do. Move that over so it's kind of centered. All right, now what I didn't do, oh, I'm kicking myself now. You can corner around the edges if you want to, or you can have it squared. I wish I'd cornered the edges with a punch because that looks quite cute. Let me see if I can lift it up. Yes, beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to use my scallop one. So I'm going to do, make sure you've got the right direction of your photo mat going into. And I'm just using my We Are Memory Keepers handheld punch there, corner punch. And then all I have to do is just glue that section down a bit. Beautiful. Okay, get that in there. Now for the purpose of you guys watching and stuff, I didn't actually mat the second, excuse me, mat the back side of it. Okay, you guys can do that. So you've got enough there for it to hold down this pocket, this flip here as well. If you didn't want to do it that way and you wanted to shorten your photo mat, that's fine. You can always add magnets to this as well. All right, so then we flip it over, okay, and then what I want to do is I want to put my pocket along here. Now I'll do that in a moment. I've actually cut a 2-inch piece of this paper, 2 by just underneath, or 2 by just, you know, under 8. It is, you guys will figure it out. Like I said, I moved mine back to 2 little spaces and it gives me that border. Okay. Once again, if you guys are just beginning, practice on scratch paper beforehand. Otherwise you'll go through a lot of designer paper, and it's kind of costly, you know, to be throwing it around. And excuse me. Okay, so that, I've got to figure out which way my pocket is. So we've done that front part here. Oh, that's that part here. So we've created this. Okay, then what we want to do is create this. So as we go along there, that will be there, and your pocket will be along here on the inside. So we're just going to tape or glue this down, I'd say. Now, once again, you want to make sure, if you've got directional paper, you've got to make sure you stick it down the right way. Okay, so I'm flipping mine over this way, so I want to make sure that this is glued down. And also too, don't forget to glue the paper on top of this pocket. I don't think I've glued mine down. No. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. Once again, just be careful of that line, because you want to have that gusset there. All right, and then what I'll do is peel this off. This on there. Got the gum from the glue, from the roller adhesive. It's all over the place. All right, so we've got our pocket here. Okay, and that's that. And then you've got this one here. All right. Then what we will do is we'll attach this to our page here. So you want it on the left hand side, you want to adhere it down. What you might want to do too is just be mindful that you have got that gusset there as well, and make sure you get that lined up along the edge. So I'm just gonna make sure that's folded over. Been having some definitely wintry weather here. I mean, yeah, we've got winter, but last winter, man, it was a mild winter. This winter has been very icy, and I'm not complaining because I love it. Okay, so I'm just going to line that up with that edge, and you don't want it going over your page on here. You just want it to be flush against it. All right, so now we've created this pocket, and what you want to do is, which I didn't do, just miter the corners as well. So I might need to lift this up a little bit. See, I stuck it down too soon and didn't miter the corners on this one. So I'm going to quickly do that. Don't forget to do that because you don't want to see those corners when you're covering the paper. Oh, okay. I'm going to do that on this one. Sorry guys, I'm probably going to be off camera. Alrighty. So I've just cut them now. Alright. So we've got our first, excuse me, our first flip done. So that'll come out, that will open up, and you've got your pocket there. Then you've got this pocket here as well. Okay, you've got your photo mat pocket there as well, which are kind of stuck, right? Then what we're going to do is we're going to use the hinges, right? You're not going to see it in the other album, you can't see them. So what I did do is I cut out 3 pieces of cardstock. Now they all measure 3.5 by 8. Okay, so 2 pieces you'll measure at let me see, you'll score it at 1 inch. So 2 of these pieces will be scored at 1 inch. Okay, the third piece here will be scored at 1 3/4. Now what you're going to do, we're going to stitch it. Now you can use a sewing machine or you can hand stitch. I just hand stitches, you know, stitched it just roughly, but a sewing machine would be great as well. This is where the Tim Holtz binding comes into play with the the flip things in the folio. Okay, now what you want to do is round your corners first. If you want rounded corners, or if you want to cut them on an angle, whatever, you need to do that first. I prefer rounded corners, obviously. So what you're going to do is grab the 3.5 by 8, the one that's scored at the 1 inch, and the one that's scored at 1 3/4 inches. Okay, so you're going to put it in like that. The other one that's scored at 1 inch, you're going to slide it in the center there. Okay, so when I did mine, I had this out of some sort of packaging, but I've kept it. It's like this foamy stuff. It's not that foam that falls apart, you know, the one, the white styrofoam. It's not styrofoam. It's some sort of foam. Anyway, so I used that, and then I used my awl to punch the holes in. Now what you can do too is line up your page, and as you can see I was way off center there, but you can line up your page with the Tim Holtz ruler, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's got holes, like Tim Holtz ruler has got holes in them, so you can punch and use that as a guideline as well. All right, so that is the binding system. All right, and this is how we're going to have it. So what you want is that big piece to be down the bottom. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my flip book, and I want to glue it down along here. All right, so that's where I want to glue it down. So I'll get my glue. This is why I say use your wet glue. Now you can adjust these hinges to your measurements or tailor them, or you can use different, you know, hinge binding system. Totally up to you guys. I just use this because I thought it was a bit of fun to create my own mini flip and put these hinges in it as well. Okay, so I'm just going to line it up, make sure everything's point to point here. All right, so that's our bottom piece here. Okay, and that's going to be covered over. I know I could have cut it down further, whatever, but I like it over like this. Okay, so they were the measurements. Now you've got room here to do 3, 4, 5 pages easy. You could also, you know, not glue this down all the way and have that as a pocket. Totally up to you. Like I said, this is the way that I created the mini album, and you guys, you know, can tailor it to suit your needs. All right, so we've got our hinges here, So the next piece we're going to move on to would be this piece here. Okay, so I'm just going to get everything prepared and come back and we'll start again. Okay, see you soon.